The regular board meeting of the Acton-Agua Unified School District is called to order on May 28th at 7:30 p.m. Can I get roll call, please?
Klaus here.
Paul Draft here.
Jesus here.
Mays here.
Brianna Taxoni here. Agenda for the regular meeting of May 28th, 2026. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
There are no changes to the agenda for this evening.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Klaus, aye.
Falls Draft, aye.
Jesus aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. Flag salute. Lexi, would you like to lead us in the flag salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ken, would you like to read the civility statement?
Certainly. When conducting the district's business, we will strive to communicate clearly and concisely with a respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterproductive efforts of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you. 3, closed session was canceled tonight. 4, public comments, recognition, and reports.
There are no reports for this section. There are no public comment cards pulled nor online. Thank you.
5, AATA Representative. Is Carrie on there? CSEA Rep. And Ms. Autumn, Student Representative to the board.
Good evening, everyone. Happy almost end of the school year. So exciting. So let's start at Little Owls. They had an amazing field day on Wednesday, May 27th. And kindergarten promotion is Thursday, June 4th at 9:30 a.m. So that's exciting. Looking at Meadowlark, third and fourth grade finished their state testing, including all their makeup testing. Their field day is on June 2nd. Their talent show is also Tuesday, June 2nd. And they're looking forward to grad walk on Wednesday, June 3rd, when the high school seniors do a tour or just a walk around all 3 school site campuses. Fourth grade promotion ceremony is on Friday, June 5th at 9:30 a.m. Both campuses had their open house celebrations, and they went well and were well attended. The Family Fun and Craft Night on Tuesday, May 26th was also well attended, where families assembled birdhouses, created and painted canvases, painted wooden crafts, and as well as assembled birdhouses. Moving on to High Desert, they held their ribbon cutting ceremony for their culinary lab yesterday. It is an incredible new space supported by our amazing teacher, Mrs. Alfred Walsh. We're very excited for the students to get cooking. I'm excited for them. Who knows how good they'll be when they come to culinary at Vasquez. Thank you to Corinne Bailey, Christy Beaumont, Mark Bachneck, Barbara Beaumont, and Chelsea Lobello for their support in making this creative vision for the decor become reality. Thank you for the district support for this new space for our students. Our students showcase and open house was a really big success at High Desert. We're very proud of all that the students have accomplished this year. Thank you very much to our teachers and our staff members who put in all their hard work in educating and supporting the students. It really makes a difference. It's been 4 years since I've been to High Desert, and it's not at all the same place I used to go to middle school. It's changed a lot for the better. Now, moving on to Vasquez, the annual Night of the Stars ceremony was on Wednesday, May 20th, and it was well attended. 2 Saturdays ago, May 16th, Vasquez enjoyed prom at the Los Angeles Zoo. Everyone had a lot of fun. Wednesday, May 20th, the Science National Honor Society members went to Little Owls to do science experiments with the kids. The kids loved it, and they said supposedly they were raving about it to their parents. So upcoming, on Wednesday, like I mentioned before, the graduates will be visiting the other campuses for grad walk. Later the day at 6:30 p.m. is graduation ceremony. Then we're also preparing for summer school session for our students to get ahead and catch up. Our sports season has been incredible this year. They've gone above and beyond. We're so proud and so impressed with the athletes and as students, the student athletes on and off the fields. We can't wait to see what's next as they continue building this momentum. That's all I have for the rest of the school year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Always the highlight of the board meeting for me, so I really appreciate all of your well thought out, well prepared student reports. Thank you very much.
We could do it during now or superintendent report.
D, superintendent report.
Thank you, Ms. Taxoni. Just to echo our board president's words regarding Autumn, you know, your reports are fantastic. They're well thought out. They're passionate and well informed. You know, tonight is your last evening with us as student board rep. I want to sincerely congratulate you. The grace, compassion that you brought to the board every other week has been impeccable. You will, you know, be greatly missed. But you know, here with all of us present and being recorded for prosperity, you do have to promise us to come back, share with us all of the fantastic things that you're doing post-graduation, your post-secondary plans. There's an extremely bright future ahead of you. Knowing that, you know, while you've been here and then you almost owned the stage at Night of the Stars, okay, I'm gonna put that out there. We're very, very proud of you and thank you for the service to the board, to the district, to the community. Thank you.
For this amazing opportunity.
Absolutely. And the board has something that they'd like to present to you at this time.
Oh. Is that like a virtual university? No. Why would it be?
Because your name needs to be on
What?
the town ballot for a board seat this year.
Yeah, I got it.
No, I'm serious. So are you gonna do a skip year and then you can sit on the board? and run
I'm
for
gone for
election?
4 years, sorry. I'm leaving June 8th, and I will only be back here to visit my parents and friends. So,
So I'm not on that list.
you're a friend now. Now.
I just gave you like a huge compliment. You should be sitting here. You really should.
Maybe one day.
Well, I don't have long to live, so pick it up.
Too bad.
Dodger Stadium will not fill with Mormons before I die. I guarantee you that. Okay?
Thank you so much for being a part of this board. It was a pleasure working with you. And I'm positive you can do great things in the future. So good luck to your journey.
Yes, thank you for being here. It's been great having you here, and we'll definitely miss you.
Thank you.
Good luck with your schooling, and I'm sure you'll do great.
I mean, I've told you over and over how much I appreciate you. I appreciate your reports. I think one of the things that I appreciate the most about you is your advocacy for your school, for your fellow students. your advocacy to make our district better, to make your school better, you're not going to be here to be able to enjoy the fruits of everything that you've advocated for. And like we already talked about, even after you're gone, you're still going to be advocating from far away. And I think that is so amazing. That passion that you have is quite incredible. Where are you going? You said you're going out of the country. Do you want to share where you're going? I want to know.
Just this summer, I'm going to Israel to visit my family.
How cool.
So I leave June 8th. I come back August 10th. Then I leave August 14th for Dallas, Texas.
That is very cool. Well, have a blast on all of your travels. That's going to be incredible.
Point of clarification, Dallas, Texas is another country.
It's kind of like, it's like if Acton was a city in a way.
Small town, big city.
Yeah, it did. I really liked the feeling.
Yeah.
It just felt right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're going to have a fantastic time.
To continue with my superintendent's report, thank you, Ms. Taxoni. It's a night for our students. I'm going to walk over to the podium, and I'm going to call up Superintendent's Student Advisory Council with great pride, so give me a moment. There we go. All right, with great pride, I'd like to call up Haley Honeke, Cassidy Horton, Lexi Van Ornum, and Logan Williams, please. As part of the Superintendent Student Advisory Council, I'm proud to represent the students behind me. They are phenomenal students from Vasquez who've given up many lunch periods to spend it with me to talk about the strengths and challenges not only of Vasquez but of the school district and what actions we could put into place in order to support our students, particularly as they transition from the middle school High Desert as they matriculate into Vasquez High School as freshmen. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and call up Mr. Logan Williams, who's going to kick off the presentation of our efforts for this year leading into 26-27 school year. Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. So for the Superintendent Advisory Council, our whole main goal is just to connect with the students, right? Connect students to teachers and everyone else, staff, everyone in the community. So our first goal was to identify the strengths and challenges that we've had in the Superintendent Advisory Council, or just throughout everywhere. So some strengths we found were that staff's commitment to students and students' ability to access teachers, as they're very able to talk to people, whoever they need to, when they need to. Teachers know students as individuals and not just numbers. Everyone can have a connection to one of the teachers, and they're just able to talk to the staff in general. Teachers are friendly, they're accessible, they're easy to get to. Teachers motivate students, they're always trying to push you wherever you are. The athletic program is very strong, especially since I've started going there freshman year. 3 years ago, it's been way better than it has been from what I know. And study hall for athletes has always been a plus. It always helps me get my grades up when I don't have time at home, when I get home at like 7 or 8 o'clock. And some challenges we identified, we don't have that many incentives to involve students in like sports and all of that. Like, we don't have any incentives for that. Communications with staff and teachers to students needs to be like more timely during unprecedented emergencies. Students matriculating to US or Vasquez High School need support to navigate there. Sometimes we don't have, the buses are late or stuff like that happens, and we just don't have the accessibility to get there on time. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So our proposal for last year's spring 2025, we had developed the idea for an Agua Dulce School District peer mentoring group to tackle main themes provided by the Advisory Council. The purpose of a youth peer mentoring program was to establish a trusting relationship between a student and caring peers who offer encouragement and support. The goal is to support the navigation of Vasquez High School, increase student engagement and attendance, and offer academic support. The proposal for this year's Spring 2026 was the foundation for the launch of the Mustang Mentors Group of Fall 2026 has been a primary focus of our work over the past several months. The recruitment phase for Mustang Mentors is currently underway, and we are in the process of identifying a staff member to serve as the group's advisor. In addition, we are exploring opportunities and dedicated times for mentors to connect with their mentees, such as during advisory periods. Thank you.
The Vasquez High School's Mustang Mentors trains high school students to serve as peer mentors to younger students. The purpose of the youth mentoring program is to establish a trusting relationship between a student and caring peers who offer encouragement, guidance, and support. The goal is to increase the school's graduation rate and improve attendance by developing the competence and character of participating students. The weekly activities consist of community service, leadership, improving social skills, and team building. Mentoring has a positive effect on the peer mentor and the mentee.
Mustang Mentor volunteer position. As a peer mentor, you mentor an incoming freshman or sophomore to achieve personal and academic goals. You support the mentee throughout group mentorship, friendship. You serve as a role model and a friend. You plan and participate in activities with your mentee, tutoring, bonding and advisory, maybe going out to lunch on your free time if you'd like. They are required to submit activity logs and other information as required by the advisory teacher or mentor advisor who will be running this to confirm their hours and to make sure that they're being trustworthy in what they say. They communicate with a mentee openly and non-judgmentally. They establish a relationship based on equal responsibility and respect. They encourage and support the mentee. However, it is a time commitment. You will have to sign a contract. It is 2 semesters with Mustang Mentors, and you will have to be in a summer training, about like 10 weeks, and check in regularly. You spend a minimum of 2 advisory periods per week with assigned groups of mentees.
Some of the participation requirements of being a mentor are being in the 11th or 12th grade, being interested in working with underclassmen, being willing to adhere to all program policies and procedures, being dependable and consistent in meetings, being willing to communicate regularly with program staff, and being willing to receive constructive feedback regarding mentor activities. Some of the benefits of being a mentor are personal fulfillment through contribution to the community, satisfaction in helping the mentee mature, progress, and achieve goals. Training sessions allow you to learn skills valuable to employees, personal ongoing support and supervision to help you grow professionally, receive hours toward your community service graduation requirements, and establish meaningful connections in the Acton-Agua Unified School District.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions?
It takes a very progressive superintendent and principal or principals to have you guys come up here and tell us what we're doing good at and what we're not doing good at. That's a sign of a healthy organization. Thank you.
I am so excited to see where this goes. I always wondered why we didn't have some kind of a basic mentorship program. And as someone who has greatly benefited from a program like this as a mentee being mentored, once again, I'm so excited to see where this will go. I wish you all the best and good luck.
Thank you so much for what you're doing, and I think it's important that we hear the voices of the students to see where we stand as a district. Question for you, I know you mentioned that the sports should have some incentives. What would that look like for you? Like, what are some of the ideas that you're thinking about?
So, so for some incentives, the main thing I can really think of is I know it gives a GPA boost, but I've never seen anywhere where it advertises that. So even though it already does, I think a way to advertise that would make a lot more people play, even if they're not the best at it, but they could find something they really could like throughout that.
Thank you. Now, the mentorship program, that's been operating for how long? Is that something that just started? I didn't
It
catch
is
that.
not yet in operation. We're
Okay.
planning on starting in this fall.
Great, great. I would love to see some of the numbers of the students that are actually willing to participate in this program. My daughter will be going to Vasquez next year. I think that's a great opportunity for her to pair up with somebody who is successful at the school. So thank you for what you're doing. Appreciate it.
Again, thank you. It sounds like a great program. Can't wait to see it. Thanks.
It takes a lot to step up and be a leader on campus, and you guys are leading the leaders. You're creating the leaders on campus, and that's incredible. So good job. Your presentation was fantastic. And the Superintendent's Advisory Committee, if I'm correct, you've been meeting with this group of students all year? Yes. That's awesome. So you guys have already given so much of your time, and even to plan this group for next year, it sounds like a lot of planning and thought and care has gone into it. So thank you for doing what you do.
And as we conclude, I'm really in awe in each and every one of our students right here. In the amount of time that they put things together and how cohesive they are, between athletics, AP classes, extracurricular, community service hours, National Honor Society, et cetera, each and every time, I would leave the meeting, I always felt invigorated, and I always felt like an underachiever after meeting with them. My hat's off to you. I'm proud of each and every one of you, and there's a lot more work to be had. Those who are graduating, I want to say Cassidy and Logan, we wish you all the... Oh, okay, well, Cassidy, wish you all the best, of course, and then I look forward to seeing 3 of you and then some for the fall of 26. And Dr. Smith, thank you for your participation at these meetings as well. You made it efficient, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. 5E, Facilities Finance Subcommittee Report.
The Facilities and Finance Subcommittee met this past Tuesday, and we went over a few things, one being the new scoreboard that was donated and what it's going to take to put it up. There is some more planning that needs to be done and maybe some fundraising to get the thing put in, but we have it, just needs to be put in. We also went over the facility projects, a comprehensive list of what's going to go on for this summer. There's some great things going to be happening at all the facilities to update them and upgrade them and make them safer places to be. And that's pretty much what we talked about this meeting. Thank you.
Was that your last meeting for the school year?
No, June 30th will be our last one.
Dang, you're taking it into the summer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Education Subcommittee Report. We did not meet. Our meeting was postponed, so we will be meeting in June. Policy and Management Subcommittee Report.
We met today. We had some great discussions on board policies as far as when a new member is appointed or elected. And I'm going to let Ken take over for a little bit. I think he has some comments.
Thank you. For the agenda for the meeting, when you see the replay of it posted on the district website, you're going to see that there's just about every policy that involves a board, how the board is put together, the qualifications of the president, who can serve, and what. So I sat in here for the first time in December of 2015, and it was very different back then. Let's just say that. The focus was very different. And coming onto a board is not a way to become popular in the community. Your popularity can suffer drastically, especially when there's stuff going on back there that you can't talk about, that the community doesn't know. You may be looking at 3 board seats being open, which could present a scenario where you have people who have 0 experience, who have never even seen a board meeting, filling those 3 seats. And any of us who have served, we rotate By the way, that rotation is not a board policy. It was my idea a few years ago. It's really easy for a superintendent to get comfortable with a mono president, and there are implications that go with that, none of them positive. Each person that's put on this earth is put here for a reason or numerous reasons. You may never even know your reason while you're alive, but everybody has a potential and a promise that can be provided by no one else who ever has been, or ever will be born onto this earth. So when you rotate up there, you learn very quickly. Brianna's job this year is to keep the cats in the cage, and that's pretty rough with me sitting down here. But sitting on this board is not a way to elevate yourself in the community as an adult. It's a way to support the staff and the superintendent in making sure stuff like this happens. And it's kind of a, if you're trying to be popular in the community, it's not it. So the reason we put all this stuff up there, you're smiling, you know my backstory. Say hi to your mom, she's wonderful. At the end of the day, all your moms are wonderful. I don't want to fall into that pit, but especially yours. So at the end of the day, we put all this stuff up here so people who are thinking about either nominating themselves for the board or, are you listening? So they can look at all these policies and say, okay, what this is about, yeah, oh yeah, thank you, we're thinking now. At the end of the day, it's a way for people who might be thinking about serving this community in a positive way and supporting the district superintendent. We don't tell him what to do. It's all there for you to look at and to help navigate. It's weird when you get up there and you're the one running the meeting and everyone's yelling and freaking out there. I like All-Star Wrestling, so I loved it, but most people don't. Anyway, guys, it's up there. There is no way to structure this. I like the structure. It's unfortunate this rezoning thing has popped in, because there's people who are integral to this board, like this dude over here, this one too, but that one there. The reason that there's a couple of projects on the list, are y'all through? There will be a question. There will, Ms. Van Ornum, there will be a test. So at the end of the day, the subcommittees, the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee and the Education Subcommittee did some great work this year to restore funding when the power company just decides to shut our town down like it's 1840 or something, and we can't get a generator. So their recommendation went to the Education Subcommittee, who said there's got to be a way to put I used to think that Brianna's job was to win the pageant, but this was actually her idea to say, hey, is there a way that we can get credit for putting the curriculum available to the students so when they're stuck at home, we don't get punished and you guys don't lose your continuum of education? Because when I was in school, the teacher would say something, and then the next day they would repeat what you were supposed to learn that day and then move on to something else. So if you miss 3 days, and you're terrible at algebra, you will have missed the entire semester. So if you are out there in the community and you think that you have a specific skill set, the skill set around what's going on up here is pretty impressive when you put us all together. Not as impressive as her accomplishments will be when she gets out of Texas. We'll forgive you for that part. But it's all there for you. Study it and come in with a good attitude. So that's kind of what I talked about while everyone else was sleeping today.
Our next meeting is not until September.
Thank you. H, submissions.
There are no new submissions for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. 6A, approval of consent calendar items 8B through 8L. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
We have quite a bit of consent agenda items. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer any items.
I'd like to pull L up on the screen. I don't think this is a need for discussion. Nobody's brother-in-law is getting a contract. I got divorced, so my brother-in-law can, not really. But this is something that I brought up a long time ago. This is the list of your annual vendors. Can we scroll through that slowly so somebody at home can look at this and say, yeah, this is, we announce our vendors that will be around in the next fiscal year. I can't see any more kids. Is the dollar amount not to exceed on there?
Yes.
So you see each vendor, the not to exceed amount in the contract. Tell me what the lawyer amounts are, please. I'm talking to the advisory team, the internal investigation team over here, the young ones. What? For the lawyer? The year I started, the charter attorney alone was $484,000. Each student had $500 of their money being spent on an attorney for charter schools in San Bernardino. Yay. Other questions? Good. Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Falls Graph, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 7A, Personnel Report 25-26.15. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. For the PAR report this evening, there are no amendments.
Discussion? Call for question. All those in favor?
Falls Graph, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. B, tentative agreement between AATA and AADUSD, Article 10, Article 29, and stipend schedule. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. For our lead, as our lead negotiator for management, as well as serving as our HR director, Ms. Jackie Erdrich, I'll kindly ask her to come up to the podium just to kind of provide brief updates to Article 10, 29, and the AATA stipend list that were negotiated. Thank you.
Good evening, thank you. So Article 10 is class size. The changes are we increase credit recovery to 28 students per class. The virtual academy, we decrease to no more than 180 classes in each period, and that is if a student is enrolled in 5 classes, that counts as 5, not as 1 student. And that is in the hopes of allowing that the virtual teachers get that opportunity to have a planning period also. For the SDC classes, teachers are supposed to be getting currently 75 minutes a week to work on IEPs and assessments. A lot of them are not being able to take that time. They can also schedule, if they want, 2 days of subs. They don't want to be away from the class, plus it takes a lot of planning to plan for the substitutes. So what was added was that if they don't get that amount of time, that they will be paid at their hourly rate for those 75 minutes each week. For Article 29, it states that the TOSAs, currently it used to be that any TOSA was automatically paid an extra 1/5, and that ended this year back on the end of September. So what was added that if a TOSA is working a 6th period, they will get that 1/5, which is what is now currently in place for all teachers who work through their prep period. As far as the stipend schedule, What was added to the high school is the varsity flag football. That had been agreed upon a couple years ago, but it never actually made it into the schedule, so that's been corrected. For the middle school, the dance force, same thing, it had been corrected, it's being corrected because it had been agreed upon a couple years ago, but it never made it in. And then the other thing was that instead of just listing coach and assistant coach, they wrote out all the different sports, same as the high school. So those are the changes to the articles that you have in front of you. Any questions or anything? Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Klaus, I.
Falls, aye.
Just
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 8A, memorandum of agreement between the Department of Air Force and Acton-Agua Dulce Unified School District. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Dr. Sahakian.
Thank you. On the heels of a fantastic culinary arts program, ribbon cutting yesterday at High Desert, it's always a thrill to announce additional opportunities for our students here for AADUSD. Take great pride to announce that yet another signature program and opportunity for our students will be arriving at Vasquez through the Air Force JROTC program to kick off in the fall of 2026. The MOA that you have attached to the agenda itself requires 2 instructors with a 50-50 cost share between the Air Force as well as AADUSD. The Vasquez team of counselors, as well as Dr. Raina Smith, our principal, and myself, did a walkthrough with the representative a while back in terms of commitment, gauging the campus, classroom space, storage space, et cetera. And so we got through with flying colors, and we received the letter not too long ago. So we're excited about this new program coming to Vasquez. And so I know that our counseling team at Vasquez is putting interest lists together. We're also working with Dr. Smith as well as MOT to identify and get these rooms ready for the launch in fall of 26. Thank you.
Fantastic. Discussion?
Exciting.
This is one of the things that Lester was big on, and it's too bad that he laid up in the bed at home tonight and didn't sit in this chair to be congratulated.
Thank you. I think it's been a great idea to bring that JRTC program here. I started off in the Air Force before I went in the Army, so I think it's a great deal. Is this open to all students, 9th through 12th, or? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Thanks.
Yes, this is going to be a great opportunity for students, and looking forward to see what happens with it.
I concur. I'm very excited. I think a lot about how small our school is and how many opportunities our students have. It's really quite incredible. And this is just one more thing that's like, shout it from the rooftops. It's a very cool. So thank you for working so hard on making this happen. Call for question. All those in favor?
Klaus, I.
Just aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 8B, first read school plan for student achievement, Meadowlark, High Desert, and Vasquez High School.
Thank you. So as a first read, our CSEAs for all of our sites typically cover and outline continuous improvement efforts for each campus, expenditures such as categorical funding, their budget for the incoming year, their targeted actions, as well as analysis of our data, academic data, to go ahead and guide those target actions within the CSEA. So I want to go ahead and congratulate our 3 principals, as well as Dr. Chamberlain, Director of Ed Services, for their thoughtful approach to the CSEA that you have attached to the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion? Hearing none, moving on. 9A, approval, resolution number 2025-26.15, Da Vinci Rise Charter Petition. Can I get somebody to move it in?
I'll move it in.
Thank you, Ms. Pattison.
I don't have a second.
I'm sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I apologize. So this resolution goes to our board for consideration of approval for Da Vinci Rise High Charter School petition. Ms. Pattison?
Good evening. My name is Nishay Pattison. I'm the Director of Charter Services, and based on our staff findings, our recommendation is for a 5-year petition approval for Da Vinci Rise.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question. All those in favor?
Falls, you have to abstain.
Disuse, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni abstain. 9B, board member vacancy, consideration of appointment of special election. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We do have Mr. Ron Wakeguard, who's online with us, who would like to go and take questions as well as present an outline that he has prepared. A very succinct timeline of procedures for the board vacancy, the upcoming board vacancy, and filling that board vacancy. Okay. Can we, Board President, can we like circle back to this item and I can
Sure.
reach out to him?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I apologize.
9C, first read, I-Lead Charter School Lease Agreement.
Yes, thank you. First and foremost, thank you to the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee, Board Liaisons, Mr. Mascon, as well as Mr. Mays, in support of the proposed I-Lead renewal for the lease of one of our campuses. The contract itself has come back and forth and back and forth. So we do appreciate the discussions and the feedback, as well as Ms. Pattison working with I-Lead administration. Some of the highlights that have been amended for consideration is the length of the lease term, the rent amount, as well as the maintenance components that are outlined in this updated lease that is attached to this agenda.
Thank you. Discussion?
Hang on just a second, we're going to put it up on the screen. Just zip through it very slowly. So I would like to hear what I'd like to hear a synopsis of what the Facilities and Finance Committee meeting or subcommittee, give me the cliff notes on this process and how you ended up where you did with the term and the cost.
Well, there's multiple factors to it. One was what the laws are and what we have to stay with. Two was we did go back and forth on lease terms and a lot of the facilities maintenance issues and what was going on. But in the end, both Mr. Mascon and I agreed with what was presented to us after, I think it was like 4 or 5 rounds that it took to get to where we're at.
Thank you. This is the hearing and not a call for question, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no more discussion, moving on. D, approval, total roofing, total protection, commercial roofing contract, HDS building number 1, not to exceed $142,077. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Once again, kudos to the Facilities and Finance Subcommittee Board Liaisons, Mr. Mascon and Mr. Mays, as well as Mr. Mora for presenting this information and having a discussion and taking a look at proposals of the much-needed items, as Mr. Mascon would say, to keep the lights on. This is both agenda items 9D and E have the same square footage for buildings 1 and 2, hence the same not to exceed amount that you see on the agenda itself. And so based on these summer projects that were previewed and reviewed at Facilities and Finance Subcommittee, they provided their recommendation to bring this forward. Not to steal your thunder right now, Mr. Mays, but that's how it ended up on the agenda. Thank you.
Discussion?
Mr. Mays, how should I vote?
I would vote yes.
Aye.
De Souza.
Mays, aye.
Excuse
Brianna.
me.
Klaus, aye.
There we go.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. E, approval, total roofing, total protection, commercial roofing contract, HDS, building number 2, not to exceed $142,077. I'll move it in. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I'm going to assume everything's the same, and we'll just go to discussion.
Yes, Ms. Taxoni.
Thank you. Discussion?
It's Groundhog Day. Bill, how should I vote?
I would say you vote an aye. And just so we are clear, there was other bids in here before this one that were much more higher, and we were able to get this one at about $100,000 less or something like that between the two. So,
Was that without criminal charges?
yes, sir.
Good.
Call for question. All those in favor?
Klaus, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
De Souza.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. 10, board comments. Mr. Falsgraf.
Okay.
Oh. Okay, we'll do board comments.
So do we need to talk about that? I can talk about that.
Well, we can go back and discuss it. Let's see if Ron's going to come on, and if not, we'll talk about
Okay.
it ourselves.
Wonderful. So the board member comments. Last time I was not here, I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, cultural capital of the world, and my daughter was walking across the stage to get her JD. She's straight out of Vasquez High School. I'm wondering if we shouldn't in the future find people that graduated from Vasquez High School and what they're doing now. Since Lester's turn was last week and goes this week, I'm going to do this week's or this month or whatever you call it. How many of you know Dr. Cracker, the ones that's the Cordova? Dr. Cracker. Do you know that he went to Vasquez High School? Do you know that he got a baseball scholarship and went and played at Culver Stockton College, which is in Canton, Missouri, cultural capital of the world, which is 18 miles from Hannibal, Missouri. So if you know your Twain, he came back here and now services the community. I think that sometimes he comes around the football team and has an input. So Dr. Cordova, you are a wonderful and useful alumnus of Vasquez High School, Acton, California, cultural capital of the world. By the way, wherever you are is the cultural capital of the world. Okay, guys, I'm down people at work, and so I'm kind of tied up, and so I'm not getting around to everything, but I will be at your commencement and whatever grade you're in, so if that gives you any comfort, I'll pray for you. I will want to talk now about Ms. Klaus. If you're going to be the student rep, I've been here 10, 11 years, this is the one to beat right here. So she, in the beginning, was going to take over the world. She just took over Acton now. But she has wants to understand what the policy is, what the process is, not just what she thinks things are. So she'll learn, she'll ask questions. Some of them are difficult. She has participated as a board member in the subcommittee meetings and replaced some people when they weren't able to attend. We all have work schedules. So she was in there. She would ask questions and function in a capacity. So what these subcommittees do is they kind of lay the groundwork out So things get to us, and you'll hear me ask, what was your recommendation, Bill? How should I vote? So she has participated in that, and I would hope that when you communicate what your capacities are to the people in Texas, because I think they're a tad bit behind, you might be able to tell. I worked the oil fields there. I know what it is. I know where you're headed. But I think you should be able to take some of the stuff that you take for granted that you've done up here and realize it's significant. Someone talked about advocating for people. I've seen you put yourself in areas of controversy that would not benefit you at all, and that is a sign of someone who's a leader who represents the least in the community. Lester, I can't believe you're laying in bed playing video games instead of being here to what you said you would do when you were seated. So Lester has been integral to this board in terms of, so I think Lester at one point in his career was working with someone who was parking KISS concerts. Is that cool or what? How do you get everybody's going to go to a KISS concert to get their car in the right spot? If you can get them to walk a straight line, you're doing something. But his background, he works for an international parking consortium, and parking and that kind of stuff in redevelopment agencies is a way of recovering tax base. So you go into a town that's got an area that's not cool, you vitalize it, revitalize it, and all that. So Lester understands high pressure from the outside business world where there's not, people like us having to vote on whether or not somebody gets a hurt feelings for him. He was integral on the finance committee meeting. Some of the stuff that is kind of unclear to the average person, his work was integral in that. And Bill, who builds buildings all over and have LEED certifications and all the granola stuff and all the compliances and all the no oil and whatever else we have to do today to breathe clean air. Bill is an expert at that and does it again in a measurable environment where you get fired if you don't do that. So those two have been an army in making sure that we have money, they get jobs done, and I think the staff has developed beyond what their capacity could have been under former administration. So Lester, get off the bed, and I hope you hear us clapping for you. Lester did a great job. That is what I have. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for being here. And I also want to thank Lester for his time, dedication, and commitment to the Acton community and the district. I had a pleasure working with him, so I wish him best of luck in his future journeys, and we do appreciate all his work he's done. And I'm also excited for all the graduation and promotional ceremonies that are about to come. That's one of my favorite parts of being on this board, to see everybody matriculate and all the good stuff that's happening. Again, thanks everybody for being here.
Again, it's been great working with Lester. It's been great being on the subcommittee with him. And like Ken said, we've got a lot done. It's going to be a little bit harder without him getting stuff done, but we'll get it done. So Lester, thank you for everything you did for this school district. Also excited for the graduations. It's going to be super exciting. Excited to see what everybody's going to do after they graduate, and what their outcomes and career paths are. And Ms. Van Ornum, you put on a great show again last night. So, all right. Thank you all.
Going last, I really don't have anything else to say. Except I do. I do really appreciate this board as a whole. Every single person brings something completely different to the table, and I think that's why we work so well. Lester always brings such a different thought process than anybody else has. When we'll be discussing things and I'm good, and Lester says, well, what about? And he has just such a different take on it. And I think his professionalism and his his knowledge and just the way that he thinks and how calm he can stay under pressure is something this board is really going to miss. It's going to be hard shoes to fill. So Lester, wherever you are, thank you very much for all of your time. And you said you were going to be here tonight and that tonight was your last meeting. And so you're officially a big old liar. So don't put that in the
A
minutes.
video game couch laying
Cut that
liar.
part out of the video. But anyways, thank you, Lester, for, is he on?
Call him,
Lester?
call his house. Pretend you're the pizza
Let's
place.
FaceTime him. Lester, thank you very much for all that you have done and given to this community. We attended the culinary lab ribbon cutting. That was fantastic. Huge turnout. And that culinary lab, if you haven't had a chance to see it, I know there's some pictures that were posted on social media, but the lab is absolutely beautiful. Like I was telling people, last time I was in there, it was a classroom. It was the 5-6 SDC classroom. And now it's this beautiful kitchen with this kind of like 1950s vibe to it. It's so fun. Those kids are gonna just have a blast in there. I did attend the battery storage facility meeting that was at the community center that was put on by the Acton Town Council. And I just want to thank Eric for attending that. It was a kind of a late night, but I really appreciate you coming out and sharing your superintendent lens to benefit our community. So I just wanted to say thank you for attending that and to thank you to the community members for just going nonstop on that. And there will be more meetings. So not looking forward to those, but I will be attending. I did attend the ASVBA dinner meeting this last Tuesday. They talked a lot about the governor's budget May revision. Exciting stuff. I can't repeat any of it because, I didn't take notes, and there's a lot of people in that room that are a lot smarter than me. But it's definitely interesting. So they always put on at these dinner meetings, they always have some special guest. And sometimes we're talking about foster youth. Sometimes we're talking about budgets. Sometimes we're talking about state initiatives or even federal initiatives that directly are affecting our school districts. So I strongly advise you guys to come with me and listen to that because I can't bring every detail back and accurately portray what needs to be portrayed, but they talk about it and it is very enlightening. So come with me next time. That was the last one for this school year. The next one will be at, I believe, Lancaster High School in September. I did attend Night of the Stars. Absolutely beautiful. So I think they said 465 awards were given out. Some of those kids could barely walk straight because they had so many ropes on. We just have some incredibly talented students, and I love that we recognize and award students for so many different things. So really, if you're involved in any way, you're getting recognized. And that's incredible. So it's not just, if you got a 4.0, here's your certificate. It's everything from CTE to virtual sports, all in between. So congratulations to all of our kids that were honored at Night of the Stars. And then last thing I want to bring up, one thing that I would love to bring to our district, and this idea came about partially because of where I work. It's an idea that they do there. But then also because of the report that Lester gave his board member comments about Kendra last meeting, it was fantastic. I would love to bring an Alumni Hall of Fame to our district so we can every year choose some categories. If you're into community service, if it's student, if it's business, honor our alumni that are out doing fantastic things in the world, and it would be a nomination process. Nominate, and then have an alumni Hall of Fame ceremony at a big game, the football game, Night of the Stars, and bring back those alumni and honor them. I would love to do that, so if anybody wants to work with me to do that, I think that would be fantastic. So that's all I have. Now I'm out of breath. I said I wasn't going to talk a lot. Calendar, we did have a change to the calendar for our June meetings. The next meeting will be a special board meeting on June 1st, and then our last regular board meeting of the school year will be on June 11th. Do we have any discussion on that?
June 1st?
We will have a special board meeting on June 1st. What time is that meeting at?
6:30?
Will you two be at the June 1st meeting? Okay, so we will have a quorum. Any other discussion? 12, future agenda items. There are no items listed. Do we have anything we need to add to future agenda items? Okay. Now we will go on back to 9B, board member vacancy, consideration of appointment or special election. This was moved in by me and seconded by George. Dr. Sahakian.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Taxoni. So we do have our legal counsel, Mr. Wankart. Thank you, sir, for joining us, and thank you for the preparation of the procedures and timeline. That is a huge advantage to us. And I know that the board members may have some questions. If I could ask Alex, I know there are 2 attachments there, sir. If we could go to the outline of procedures to fill board vacancy, PDF number 2 on the list for 9B, please. Yes, thank you. And so our trustees do have this with them, and I will defer to our trustees for discussion as well as any questions for Mr. Wankart. Thank you, Ms. Taxoni.
On this timeline, it says June 11th, that the next regular board meeting, the board should decide whether to call an election or to appoint someone to fill the vacancy. But this is an action item today to decide whether to call an election or appoint someone. So that June 11th item would be moved to May 28th. That first June 11th item, because there's 2 there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So is Ken here? Okay, so basically, we will vote tonight to put this to the election or to appoint. If we vote to appoint, then we will hold interviews, we will get candidates, we will hold interviews, we will appoint, and then that person will still have to run at the next election, because that's the rule, they have to run at the next general election. So do we have any discussion on what the board would like to do?
I'm good.
Okay, so I'm going to move that we appoint and not do the election.
I'll second that.
Okay, so the motion is to appoint and hold interviews. Any discussion?
So Ron explained the fiscal impact, correct?
Ron did not explain anything because I did not ask about the fiscal impact. Would you like to ask Ron about the fiscal impact?
No, I'll tell you about the fiscal impact. It's going to cost about $50,000 minimum.
The normal cost.
I'm sorry, Ron, can you repeat that?
Because of the timing of the resignation, if you appoint somebody, they'll fill out the term until November, and then the cost will be the normal cost for the election. If you call an election because it's so close to November, same thing, there wouldn't be any additional cost. If it happened, earlier in the year, you might have had to call a special election, and then that would be, a fairly large cost. But because you're close to the November election, there won't need to be a special election, and so there won't be any additional cost.
So Ron, what you're saying is, if we appoint someone, that means that they would be, based on the time we get through with this, it would likely be the beginning of the school year, so they would have service for a couple of months and have to run anyway. So we would know who's filing their papers. The cutoff, I think, for filing papers is around August 12th or something. So,
Around that time. So you'll know who's running as well. So if you appoint somebody, they'll be able to serve, through July, August, September, October, and then if they want to run for another term, they can, they would have to file in August. And other people could file as well.
so I think the optics of this are such that we would know by the time it comes time to appoint, and that could almost be an endorsement that could be seen as by the community as favoritism. And I'm wondering if we can run on 4 members until the election. Or maybe a better way to look at this is, what if someone said, I am going to ask to be appointed to the board, but I will not be running for the election. So say somebody was a past board member or whatever, someone in the community that we could look to have a solid performance to fill in. Can we put that kind of constraints on the appointment?
Well, it would be up to the board. They would have to live within that trustee area.
Right.
But other than that, you could appoint someone who you know isn't going to run the election, if that's your preference.
But I think what I'm trying to say here is if we have 3 people running for the election and 2 of them are running from the area, the voter area, you know what I think about that, the voter area, to appoint one of those 2 would seem to me to be an endorsement, de facto endorsement.
That would be up to the board. I mean, if you feel it would be seen that way, then you might want to call an election. If you don't see that as an issue, then you may want to go through the appointment process so that you have you have a 5-member board for the next few months.
So
that's really up to this board, what your preference is.
Let me talk to my board. So, you guys are in this is a theoretical. You guys are in the same area, okay? And it's not an area that's up for a problem. Meanwhile, he's over here in this other area, and you all apply to be the appointee to the board for this one seat. And then in picking that, I pick one of you, even though you're all going to be running for each other and everybody knows. Does that seem to you to suggest that this board is by default saying, oh, election or not, we want whoever I pick? Is this one of my paranoid delusions, or help me here?
No, so to me, that makes sense, but when are we putting in papers if we want to run? I thought that was later.
No, it's pretty soon.
When does that open for us to put in papers if we want to run for the school board?
Is it June? If it's not June, it's July.
In July. So our timeline is that we would vote now to hold the
Appointment.
to appoint. We would start advertising it, but if we start advertising it now on May 29th, by the end of June, we could have our appointment. So that would be before people are putting in
Start
papers.
putting their
So
papers.
we will not know who is running, and so it will not be an endorsement because they will not have pulled papers yet.
Well,
So-
we have a 60-day period, right, Ron, from a couple weeks ago, so we're off in July, so we have to do the appointment at the end of June or have a special meeting in July to have it done. Is that correct?
We want this done before people pull their papers. So I don't want the illusion that I'm endorsing someone over others. So do we have the ability, let's say the room is full of candidates, do we have the ability to not pick any of them outside of the optics?
Yeah, you don't have, you could decide not to appoint somebody. If you don't appoint somebody within the 60-day period, then the county superintendent will call an election.
And so we vote right now to appoint, we take applications, we hold interviews, we choose to not appoint one of those. Can we then turn around and call an election ourselves, and it would just be the same as if we vote now to call an election?
You could do that. That's an option, as long as you do it within the 60-day period.
And we just have to call the election within the 60-day. We don't have to do anything else but say, we want an election, and that's it.
Right, and then you notify the county superintendent of schools, they'll notify the county register of voters, and they'll start the process.
But if the county superintendent said we're calling election, it'd still be the November election, right? It wouldn't be anything sooner than that.
Correct.
Okay,
So you have to do it within the
Right.
60-day time limit.
okay.
So when, last month, I believe, when we were, or the last meeting that Lester was at, I was all for just saying, you know what, let's just do an election. Let's not go through the monkey business of appointing. It's a lot on staff, it's a lot on us, advertising, all that. So I was all for just moving for an election, but at the last board meeting, Lester brought up a good point, that because it's so hard for us to get people to run in general, I've always run unopposed. So if somebody wants to run against me, great, in 2 years, that would be fantastic, but I've always run unopposed. We don't have people beating down the door to get on our board. So Lester's point was that if we do advertise and find somebody that is viable and appoint them, they still have to run. It's still going to be an election, but that just gets somebody's foot in the door, lets them get their feet wet, lets them kind of decide, it lets them have a little bit of backing before they decide to actually run and take a 4-year position.
What's always been the hang-up for me is these special elections are kind of frowned upon because you can't fill your position. Like, say somebody gets themselves in political hot water and they resign. These elections can be out, we already pay some for the regular election, but these special elections are basically saying, we're gonna call the whole town out to vote for one person or not. And the cost is very high, and guess where the funding is? From you guys. We take your money while we your money. Oh, that's why your helmets used to be from 1942, see? Because it used to be about the adults. So you're all out there, I'm in here, come in, talk to me. So at the end of the day, I was always concerned about what Ron's telling us is that we don't want to rob somebody of their ability to apply to come in here and be appointed, so we have a full board running until the election. But at the same time, I don't want to spend money having all that going on when they're going to have to run anyway. So my feeling is that we vote to appoint with the understanding that staff can have the process wrapped up, assuming they're candidates, before the first filing date. Because you'll know who pulls their papers. Some people pull papers and never file. There's a lot going on up here right now. I will be looking at y'all in the rearview mirror come December. But yeah, so that's my feeling. Does that make sense? How does staff feel about this? Can you get this together?
By end of June, yes, it's possible.
That means completed.
Yes, starting, yeah, it could be done. We start advertising as of tomorrow and early next
Interviews are
week.
the next day. We'll have somebody by Saturday.
Not guaranteed.
When did you say you were leaving town?
Okay, so the motion on the table is that we vote to appoint, and we have a second. So if you guys do not want to appoint, go ahead and vote no, it won't hurt my feelings. But we'll go ahead and call that for question.
So my move is that we vote to appoint.
That was my motion.
Okay, well then we're both in motion, okay. So at the end of the day, it's call for question now. If you don't want that, vote no, and we'll be tied.
Go ahead, call for question. All those in favor?
Klaus, aye.
Falls Graph, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. We will be holding a vote, so application. So be looking for that going out tomorrow to apply, to come and have fun with us.
Yay.
Can
High
we
five,
use,
guys.
can we use the process we've used in the past? This isn't trickery. Just use the same form, change the dates.
That sounds good to me.
I've been through a hellish election. I miss it.
Let's run against each other. Okay,
They would choose write-in.
it's recommended the board adjourn the meeting at 8:46 PM. I move. Can I get a second?
Thank you.
I'll
Ron.
second.
Was that George or Bill? Bill second. Call for question. All those in favor?
Klaus, aye.
Falls Graph, aye.
Jesus, aye.
Mays, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye.